down! Ah!
Akira!
Hello everyone and happy Halloween! Today I'll be showing off my spookiest deck list in Master Duel, which consists of 90% hand traps. Is it good? No. Is it scary? Not particularly. But is it annoying? Yeah, a little bit. So, I'll show off the deck list and then we'll go through some games. Let's jump straight into the video. So let's get into the list. We have a driver, sci-frame driver, to go with our two gammas. We have two DD Crow. This was a lot better when tier was more popular, but it can still be quite handy. We have two effect veilers, again quite useful, and I had these from building my Cyber Dragon deck, so good to have. Droll is insane. I'd be tempted to run 3 of this just because it sometimes causes auto scoops. 3 Maxi, obviously. 2 Gamma, and I just want to show off this Royal Rare, very sexy Royal Rare, probably my best one. We have 2 Ghost Ogre, good one, just in general. Ash Blossom, amazing. We have 1 Ghost Spell, since it's less generic than the other ones, but it's still good. We have 2 Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous. So these are the few cards that aren't actually a hand trap. I know, crazy. So we have the 2 Ecclesia and 1 Flute. I'm not going to try to say that. The Knighted. Basically, this just gives you something to play on your turn when it passes back, and it is pretty good going second, so it'll do. We have 2 D-Shifter. This still really hurts rogue decks, even though the main opponent is Kashtira at the moment, so it's still worth running. We have a Pankatops, just because we'll be going second all the time, so having another body that will help us close out games is nice. 2 Nibiru, because it completely slaughters Kashtira. We have an Protoss, because he's just nuts, and we're going to have a lot of monsters in our graveyard because we're discarding them, and a lot of different attributes as well, so we can get him out quite regularly. And then we have a couple of going second cards. We have the Raigeki, the Harpy's Feather, 1 Lightning Storm. These are just insane cards, especially going second, as you probably know, as I play a lot of going second decks. We have 1 Nadir Servant. This was before it was unlimited, so you could run more of these, but it lets you search out your Dogmatica cards, which will let you actually do something. We have 3 Super Poly. Again, amazing board breaker, amazing going second card. Evenly matched for the exact same reason, and 3 Impermanents. This is another hand trap, essentially. Now, the extra deck consists of an Atis to send for the Nadir Servant, a bunch of Super Poly targets. We have Mud Dragon, Garura, Starving Venom, Dragos Depelia, and because we've got plenty of room in here, we've added Almaduke alongside Triff and Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon. Not needed 100%, but any more Super Poly targets we can get, make sure that that's always going to go off. We have the Framelord Omega for if we do the Gamma on our turn. We have Relinquish Anima, since we have a lot of level 1s in here, this can help steal games as well. And then a bunch of Charmers. We have the Fire, Wind, Light and Dark Charmers, since we can use our hand traps here to go into these Charmers. We usually will be setting one of these if we get a turn back to us, and then we can use another monster to go into a Charmer. If it goes to a real grind game where the opponent can't do anything because you have all your hand traps and you manage to set enough monsters, we have access code, but I've never seen this come up, but it's very, very rare that it might. You haven't picked up already, the main point of this deck is to get your opponent to scoop as soon as possible. Once you run into 3 hand traps in one turn, a lot of players will just concede, and also if you break your opponent's board, say with a Raigeki or Harpies, like their back row, they'll just concede because they think they have no chance when really we're just running hand traps. It's a super silly deck, but you'd be surprised how many times it works, so let me show you a couple of games where it has done just that. So going into our first game here, we will always be going second. If we're going first, we've done it wrong. We've drawn a very good opening hand, but any hand with 5 hand traps are going to be good. It's going to activate the Field Spell Theory and Disc Colosseum. We'll activate the Shifter in response, and then chain the Maxi, since you can use both of these effects on the same turn if you chain them. And this will be the intended effect of the deck. Once they see this, they will scoop, not realizing we have no follow-up whatsoever, and they think we've just drawn an insane hand. Going into game 2, I promise not every game in this is going to be an insta-concede. Going second once again, which is good for us. He can activate Danger Bigfoot. He's going to discard a Danger Nessie, which is a good discard for him. He'll draw one card off the Bigfoot and then attempt to activate the Nessie, and we'll chain the Jordan Lockbird on the draw so that he can't draw anymore. Assuming this is Danger Dark World, this is big. He did summon bees just there, so it is Danger Dark World, and then he's going to go into Muckraker. He's going to try the 50-50 on the Thunderbird after setting one card. Unfortunately, he doesn't hit the Thunderbird, which is fine by us. He's put up a menacing end board here with one set and one Muckraker. We're going to set up an even worse board by setting an Imperm and a Ghost Bell. He's going to activate Genta here, discarding that from hand to add the Gates of the Dark World. He's going to activate the Gates, and we'll chain the Maxi here, just so if it wants a special summon, he'll have to reconsider. And we'll see how much this affects us in a second. But he's going to activate the Gates, banishing the Genta and discarding a Chupacabra. So he'll get a special summon of the Genta and the Chupacabra here. He's probably going to bring back, he's targeted the Bigfoot here, and he's going to bring back the Genta as well. So he's bringing both those back, but luckily we get our draws since we did Max C. He's going to special summon once more, going into Nightmare Unicorn here. And this is where I think we'll be using our Imperm to stop this Unicorn from going off. He discards a Bigfoot. Luckily, we have no face-up cards that he can pop for the effect, but at least he'll waste an attack going into this face down here. So we'll let him go to battle phase and kill our Handtrap that's sitting there nicely doing nothing, and then he, for some reason, scoops. I think he realises what he's up against and decides, nah, I can't be bothered to deal with this. Going into our third game here, we've drawn very good hand. We've drawn is one of our non-hand traps as well, which is quite rare. He's going to special summon White Stingray, pitching the Archer. He's then going to activate White Mirror to try and special summon that, but we'll ash that just because, well, that's a lot of value. You get to add one and special summon? Nah. He's going to set one card, and that'll be his menacing end board, thanks to one single Ash Blossom. We drew to the Nadir's Serpent here, so we're going to send the Natis to grave to add the Dogmatic Ecclesia. We activate the Natis to pop the monster off the field, normal summoning the Ecclesia to attack for a whopping 1500. Main phase 2 will set the Super Poly to avoid the evenly matched, but this is probably the best end board we could ever come up with. He's going to activate Whitefish Salvage to target one fish and add it back to hand. He's going to normal summon that guy. 1400 attack, nothing to scoff at. Unfortunately for him, I have a 1500. I'm going to normal summon the other 1500 that I just drew and attack for 100 damage over that, and 1500 to face. Passing back to him, you can see this deck is quite slow when your opponent doesn't do anything. He's going to normal summon right hand shark to attempt to add a left hand shark, but we will effect failure that, so we don't want him to be able to do anything. 1500 is a lot of attack, but I'm sure we can deal with it. He's going to go into battle phase and just crash into one of our 1500s, which is fine by us, and then he'll target one fish and add it back to hand. The White Stingray is back again. And now he can use the right hand shark to special summon it back because he has no monsters. That's fine by us, as long as it's a 1500, we can still kill it. We'll set the Ghost Ogre that we just drew off the top, as we already have one in hand, just because he probably can't beat over that at the moment. He summons another water monster, and we will go for the Super Poly, pitching the other Ghost Ogre. We're going to a Garura here. Big defense. Big defense. He's going to bring the White Stingray back again. Back to hand. He loves that Stingray, and he's given us one of the best end boards this deck can ever come up with. Let's switch a few of these to attack, but not before special summoning the whatever I called this earlier. We're going to go for the attack here after switching everything, but he's got a Forbidden Droplet. He's going to discard 2 and half both of these attacks here. I'm going to activate this just for intimidation. So unfortunately he isn't dead here, but we have a very good board. We're going to link 2 into line of the Light Charmer here, just so we can draw one card to get another. Ooh, Ash Blossom, very nice. He did send a Nibiru, so we're going to steal that Nibiru, because that's probably the biggest monster we're ever going to have. I flipped this, and I don't know why. I think it was just so I can use the quick effect on the field. And now I realise I can do this, but then I didn't actually read that he can, once this is destroyed, I think take one fish and special summon it. But we can ash it, so that's fine. I'm glad we drew one card of Garura. So far, this is looking good, right? This should be it. He summons a Leafish, and yep, we'll imperm that. And this should be all she wrote. I'm assuming that's that Stingray back in hand, because he's just sitting on it. He's going to crash into Nibiru to make this painful game go ever so slightly faster. So that was it for the games. As you can see, this deck list is very trolly. And you can imagine how many games I sat down and lost to get those 3 games. Especially in the Duelist Cup, I think on Ranked Ladder, people are more kind of persuaded to scoop since there's no real gem reward or limited time gem reward. But on Duelist Cup, this was a painful one to slog through. But I imagine it was the same for my opponents. I think the longest game I had was 23 turns, and I would not dodge you by putting you through that. But anyway, that's it for the video. Let's go to the outro. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do let me know down in the comments. What's your spooky deck list for the year? I was tempted to go with Skull Servants, but I found Handtraps are infinitely more stupid and scary. With that being said, if you made it this far in the video, please do feel free to hit subscribe. New Yu-Gi-Oh videos each week, and as always, happy dueling. You